Hello and welcome to Motorsports with Motorhead, Episode 6, Part 2. Yeah, kind of weird doing a Part 1 and Part 2, everybody. Again, just want to say sorry for missing last week. Makes for a little bit longer episodes. Just over an hour for yesterday. Hoping to keep it under an hour for today. But I won't lie, for my notes I jot down as I watch everything. It's only like a page, maybe page and a half less. So we'll see what happens. Again, as I've said before, I don't do scripts. I just take notes, and then I kind of sit here, look over my notes, and just kind of tell you guys some of the highlights, some of the things I thought were important, or things I thought made the race interesting, or makes the sport interesting. NHRA, it's kind of hard for me to record too much about because I don't want to just go over every single pass, but I'll go over some of the really cool ones that stand out to me. Like this week, and speaking of it, I'm just going to go right into it. Brittany Force made the fastest pass in NHRA history at 341.85 miles per hour and 3.659 seconds. She was not the fastest for the past time. She was fastest for the miles per hour. That was while in the semifinals against Doug, and it was at the Northwest Nationals. While at the Northwest Nationals, a driver named Sean Reed, who also is in the Top Fuel Dragsters, he had his right rear tire explode. Took out part of his wing. He uncontrollably went from the right lane, veered over into the left lane, all the way into the concrete barrier. Parts of the front of the dragster just tore apart. In his post that he put out afterwards, he did, thank all the people on his team, thank the people at the track for the safety team, thank the fans and everything. And he said that even with missing a digit, he's going to make sure he comes back as quickly as he can. So I tried looking into that more. I honestly don't know if it was a hand or a finger, but just knowing that he lost any part in a crash like that's crazy. And I'm hoping that he has a speedy recovery so that way he can be able to return to the track. At the time of the wreck, he was 10th in point standings, which I know isn't racing quite for the championship at that point, but you still have almost half the season to go with 9 more races, so who knows how it could have been able to play out for him. So hopefully he's able to get back to the track decently quick. Sean Langdon, he won the NHRA Top Fuel and actually took the points lead. Right now, he sits top, 918 points. Tony Stewart in second with 906. Justin Ashley in third at 825. And a little bit of gap from there down to fourth. And I say a little bit of a gap, almost already 100 points between second and third, but all the way down to fourth place is Doug Kalata. I'm hoping I'm saying that one right. They're sitting at 747 points. And then you have Brittany Force in fifth place with 691 points. The only other one even above 600 points is in sixth place, and that's Antron Brown. So that's the top 6 right there. All others have less than 600 points at the time. With this last race out of the way, there are just 9 races left in this year, or 9 races, 9 weekends, sorry. 9 events. Their next race is at Sonoma, at Denso, Sonoma, and there's going to be a guest person there. I think most people would hopefully know him if you're an NHRA fan. Thanks to my dad and my grandpa both, have some of his cars in my collection. But the Snake, Don Perdone, he's going to be there. I think that's really cool. I won't lie. I would love to be able to meet him, so if I lived anywhere close to California, I would have definitely tried to make the trip out there to be able to see that. But that's really all I have on NHRA. That's why I was mentioning. It's hard for me to really record a lot on that. It's just because I don't want to go over every single pass. But I've been following the Top Fuel Dragsters a lot this year with Tony Stewart being in it. Would love to say I was following the funny car, but I'm just not quite yet. I need to probably try and find a driver to follow there a little bit, but I just haven't. With I grew up being a John Force fan, so with him not being in the sport, a little bit hard for me to be able to get fully into that at the moment. It's just because I like to be able to have names. That's why I got out of NASCAR for even a few years whenever Jeff Gordon first retired. So it's hard to be able to do it whenever you don't have names. That being said, though, I've been following more on other series even. I've been covering INDYCAR and F1, and I've followed teams more than individuals on that. I did see for F1, obviously Lando Norris, kind of my favorite driver there, just because I know his name, I know him. He's on McLaren, which is the team I follow. So some things like that. INDYCAR, I can't really say I have a true favorite. There's been some drivers that are really showing their talent this year, but I've just been enjoying the racing with that one. So, and I try and cover a lot of different things, but I also only want to cover stuff that I actually know a little bit about, so I feel like I know what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm covering the things I cover. So it's not every single thing in motorsports quite yet, but I am trying to, broaden, get out there, cover a little bit more of other stuff. So, and I'm going to try and get better at it. I'm sure that there's more to be able to cover whenever it comes to NHRA. I just got to dig more into it and be able to learn as we go. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, keep learning as well. On from there, I'm going to talk about dirt racing just a little bit, not a lot today. But I thought it was really cool, the High Limit Series, which is something that Kyle Larson does help sponsor and everything. He ran 8 races in 8 days between NASCAR and the High Limit. So I thought that was really cool. He won the Joker's jackpot at Eldora Speedway, which was featured on FS1. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because of something he said afterwards. He did an interview, and I want to actually read the exact quote that he did say. I think a lot of fans see me race on Sundays, and I'm going to say, for NASCAR, for those of you that don't know, and have a misconception of sprint cars, that this isn't professional and I come down to win these races. But it is the toughest form of racing that I get to be a part of. The quality of equipment, the quality of drivers, everybody involved. This is as professional as it gets for American auto racing. I'm glad he said that. I've mentioned it before that he said little comments like how him and Christopher Bell, I know, both made comments about going down and racing, and this challenges them, makes them better. And I think him saying comments like this and giving little interviews where he's able to say things like this shows that, because he's not wrong. The equipment, he's not in Hendrick equipment whenever he's racing in those. Yes, he has HendrickCars.com somewhere on the car still. It's usually kind of smaller on his sprint car. It's not like it's taken up the whole thing because he has other sponsors through his sprint car stuff. But it's really cool that he even has any of that. And it's a little bit different for him. And it's his way of being able to challenge himself. And he does really well throughout of it. I mean, he wins quite a few. Not every time. Sometimes, these younger guys, they'll outduel him. They'll get around him. He even spun this past week as well, so he did win, but then he ended up spinning in a different race for High Limit. So, he's not perfect, but it's still really cool that he even gets to go down, and I'm glad that he feels that it's a challenge for him, because it does show that sprint cars are not just a hobby like a lot of people think. I know it can be, but at the same time it is hard work, and it's hard racing. Those guys are flying around. These cars are almost entirely sideways going through the turns. It's exciting to watch and be able to see them get inches across each other's nose as they're going through the turn, and they're sliding around, going right in front of each other. They're always near inches away from disaster. And sadly, sometimes they do collide. Cars do get wrecked. I know they had to take a driver to the hospital not too long ago due to an accident at one of the tracks whenever it comes to sprint cars. So it's not like it's entirely safe. They're out there, they're risking stuff. Lots of money always on the line too, because those cars are not cheap to take care of. So he's not wrong. It's professional, and I'm glad to see that. And I think that there's a few other smaller divisional type racing that people don't see as being true forms that are also are. So I'm just glad to see that. So but that's about all I wanted to cover for that stuff, because I like all of it. They have so many races. I would have to be posting every other day almost to be able to cover everything for High Limit and the Outlaw Series, plus all the other type of dirt racing that I do try and follow. And I do follow it all. I watch what I can. I would just have to dedicate almost an entire episode that would be an hour long to be able to go over all the different highlights and who won what. So maybe later on down the road, I'll do a special podcast here and there going over a few weeks worth of stuff for Outlaws or High Limit, and be able to focus on things like that. I'll see. It all really kind of depends on what happens and how my audience is with everything too, because I know some of you are really into racing. Others are kind of just helping me out and listen to this to be able to give me some feedback like I've asked for, and I do appreciate you guys either way, whichever way it is. But I also don't want to bore you guys and just talk about things that no one really cares about. So that's why I'm trying to avoid episodes like yesterday. I don't want to just talk about one series in an episode. But on from there, just a quick little shout out to the Cars Tour. Kevin Harvick's son, Keelan, Keelan, he's doing real well. Him and his dad have been racing it out on the track every few weekends, and he did actually win. So really cool for him to beat his dad, as Kevin himself only finished third. Kyle Busch has kind of been doing the same thing with his son Braxton. They're not really racing too much together, but they did do a race. They did announce it, kind of made a big deal out of it a little while ago. I did mean to talk about it, but then I just kind of ran out of time because, again, I try and keep these under an hour. So I think it's really cool that both of them are racing with their kids. It's really exciting to see what exactly is going to be going on there. I think that both of those names are going to be ones we'll be seeing eventually in Truck Series, or even Xfinity or Cup. Especially Kyle Busch's son, because he's kind of made comments that he's going to keep racing until his son's of age to be able to start doing stuff, and then he'll be able to step back and kind of become, it seems like, maybe a team owner or a mentor. I've said before, maybe we'll see the return to Kyle Busch Motorsports. Don't really know for sure what to expect there entirely, but I think there's going to be some fun stuff to come way in the future, years from now, but that's definitely the next generation that's coming up. And I think it's really cool to see exactly how they are doing even at such young ages. So just really awesome. And I think it's cool for both Kyle and Kevin. Those were two names that I grew up hearing on the TV whenever we would listen. And I've met Kyle. Fun story there. He said I was wearing girls' clothes because I had my Jeff Gordon stuff on, and it made me not a Kyle fan for quite a while. Now I look back on it, I'm like, that's one of the funniest interactions I've probably ever had, especially with someone who is famous, NASCAR driver. And I would love to be able to meet him again and talk about that, and let him know that I find it funny now. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And anyone I tell that story to, they always laugh, and especially like, wait, you didn't like him for a long? Oh, that's oh yeah, people think that makes it even funnier. So now I got his cards up in my collection. Long way that I feel like I've come with that one too. So and he's grown up a lot. I actually like his interviews. Whenever he was on Denny Hamlin's podcast, I agreed with a lot of other fans that said he should get his own podcast. So just real awesome, and I'm glad for both of them. And that way we'll see their names carry on into, again, hopefully the Cup Series someday. From there, I'm going to get into the actual races, where I'm going to cover the race itself a little bit. Had a doubleheader weekend for INDYCAR. Not this past weekend. Weekend before would have been July 12th and 13th. Again, this is why I'm trying to not miss weeks. So I hate that I was sick, because I'm going to cover 3 IndyCar races today and 1 F1 race, and that'll probably be about the end. We'll probably wrap it up around then. I'm going to try and keep this one, like I said, under an hour. I'm really hoping for about 45 minutes ish for y'all. That way I just don't make it too crazy and have, almost 2.5 hours worth of content for y'all to listen to this week. All right, like I said, doubleheader weekend, Iowa, and wow, I hope this doesn't mess up again. This is actually my 3rd time trying to take that recording. Literally, as I was trying to say I was going into this, my whole thing stopped recording me, and I've tried now 3 times to get back into it. So, hopefully this works now. But anyway, as I've now said 3 times, we're going to go ahead and try it again. The race on July 12th, which was the first of the 2, went green for all but like 0.5 seconds. Then it went yellow. A driver named Colton, he spun in the grass. He was starting near the end of the field. Looks like he kind of got a little bit of an early jump. Had to then check up, and due to that, just lost it. Went for a quick spin down through the grass. Doesn't really look like there was any damage. He just quick spin, got back on the track, kept on going. He ended up finishing 13th, so kind of did bounce back. Might be to all the craziness that did ensue later on, though, because we did get quite a few yellows. But Joseph Newgarden did go ahead and take the lead when they went back green. And nothing else really happened for the first 75 laps. Did have some good hard racing. Quite a few different cars moving their way up through the field. But nothing really noteworthy. Finally on lap 75, though, first caution did come out. Second caution came out for the 51 of Jacob Abel. He hit the wall pretty hard. He got up into the marbles in turn 2. He just kind of entered the turn a little high, hit the marbles, lost it, and he hit the wall. Did destroy his right front suspension, and while under caution, everyone went ahead and pit. At the time, the second place driver, Connor Daly, he did have some issues on pit road, ended up losing 3 spots, and kind of sucks for him. He did kind of bounce back a little bit pretty quickly, though, but after that, not a lot would happen. Had some good racing, but then one thing I know that was kind of important, finally lap 90, Pato Award, he would take second from points leader Alex Palou. Lap 153, second in points, number 27 of Kirkwood. He had something break as he was going to turn 2. I know at first, whenever they showed the replay, I was like, oh, he did the same thing that the number 51 of Abel did. I thought he got high, but whenever they showed the replay, you can clearly see something broke in his suspension, and that's what sent him up into the wall. So really not fun for him, especially with him being second in points right now. I know he was looking for a better day, obviously, than that, but I guess you can't always have everything go your way. While under caution for that, all cars would pit again. Newgarden would again take the lead, though. You had Award in second, though, and Pablo in third. Connor Daly now in fourth. And for the first time in a little bit this season, Penske was actually having a pretty good day. They were running first, third, and sixth. For them, that's way better than they have been doing. It's been kind of a dismal year for them ever since the Indy 500. They've just had bad luck after bad luck. Engine expiring early in a race just a few weeks ago. Drivers getting caught up in wrecks, whether it be the driver's fault or them just being an innocent bystander. So really don't like to see that for any team. Whether whether you're a Penske fan or not, I don't think anyone wants to see someone have this type of season. And there's probably those out there that are loving it and hope that it continues, but I'm not like that. whether I like your team or not personally, whether it be NASCAR, F1, Indy, NHRA, or even other sports, football. I don't ever want to see anyone's team have such a horrible year. So to see them finally have a good day was kind of nice. Like I said, first, third, and sixth. Newgarden doing really well all throughout the race, lead most of the laps. But with just 42 to go, there was a fumble in the pits. They did drop the left front side tire before they actually got it up on the car. It slowed them down just a little bit, but as most people know in racing, every second counts, and it did cost them. Due to that, just one lap later, when Award would pit, when he took off out, he was right in front of Newgarden, and he kept blocking him. And that took it whenever the lead cycled back around. Newgarden was no longer in the lead. With just 20 to go, you would have your fourth caution, become a red flag actually. Number 6 of Nolan Siegel. He hit the wall hard in turn 4. They actually had to go out there and fix the wall, which is what caused the red flag. He was okay. He did destroy the side of his car, but at least he himself was okay. And yeah, they had to fix the wall. After they do fix it though, Ward and Newgarden, they started off 1-2. And before it even really got going again, there was yet another caution. The number 90 went into the wall. It looked like he was okay. Car had some decent damage though. Next restart, which is 9 to go. Award takes off just a little bit. Newgarden almost loses it. And that's honestly what allowed Award to get away. I watched the replay and he saved the car, but yeah, he started to go up the track a little bit, had to just correct it, and that cost him some time. And I honestly think that that's really what cost him the win, because from there was some good racing between them. Newgarden would start to get a little bit of a run here and there, but Award, whether he would throw some blocking or honestly just kind of handled his corners better, Newgarden couldn't get there. And Award won. First Chevy/McLaren win of the season. It's still kind of weird to me how they have a team together. But, I'm a little bit newer to the IndyCar scene, so maybe that's why that doesn't make the most sense for me. But still pretty cool. First win for them of the season, coming over halfway through the season. So, hey, I guess better than what Ford's doing in NASCAR right now. But anyway, from there, I'm going to go on to race 2. They called it the Farm to Finish. Cool name for this one. The other one didn't have such a cool name. But points leader Alex Palou would lead the field to green and takes off. But there's a crash in turn 4 as Scott McLuggan, the number 3, and Devlin DeFrancesco, the number 30, make contact. Would cause the yellow to come out. Both drivers are okay though. On the restart, Pablo takes the lead yet again. Newgarden now in second. Lap 50, Stingray Bob and the number 77 go into the wall due to a spin. He did destroy his rear wing and left rear wheel due to the impact. Would be the end of his day. Lap 66, Newgarden would actually overtake Palou for the lead. And I honestly thought we were going to see a Newgarden win. But sadly, no. Because Newgarden would pit right as the number 28 of Marcus Eckerson wrecks in turn 4. And I'm not joking when I say in the replay you see Newgarden go to the pit lane right as the driver hits the wall. This would cause Newgarden to restart 14th. He pit from first. 90, the number 90 would wreck again. So both days he wrecked out of the race. Rear wheel and wing destroyed. Kirkwood would stay out while the rest of the field would pit. So he actually starts first on the restart on lap 190. And him and Palou go wheel to wheel for a few laps before Palou finally does clear him and does take the lead. Lap 225, Newgarden is up into third after having to restart 14th. With 42 to go, top three are within 1 second of each other. Newgarden takes the lead, only to lose it on pit road. Because when he goes to pit yet again, a car is up in the wall. Due to that, Palou actually takes the lead, and he wins. So, really bad luck for Newgarden. Both times he was leading the race, he went to pit, and he really could have still kept the lead, or at least been able to be in contention to win it. And a caution happens. So, really just bad timing. You hate to see that for anybody. And again, especially for Penske having the year that they are. Watching the race, he had the speed, especially after restarting 14th, getting back up to the lead. I really thought it was going to be his race to win. Sadly, it was one of those times where it was his race to lose. So, hate to see that for them again. But Alex Palou, the points leader, getting another win. Kind of helping him out with that because things are starting to get a little bit closer than what I'm sure he thinks as comfort when it comes to some of their drivers and their point situation. But it's going to be it for that race, which then takes us on to Canada. Ontario, the Honda Dealers Indy. This was a road race, 90 laps, and it was pretty eventful. Great racing straight from the start. Lap number 3, the number 3 of McLaughlin into the wall. His wheel nut came off. Whenever they showed him after he went through the infield care center, I'll give him props. He didn't just throw his team under the bus. He even said, this is a team effort. And he watched the replay. He goes, yeah, you see the nut come off. He goes, but I'm not. He goes, I'm not going to fault my guys. And that's really cool. I know a lot of NASCAR drivers would have just been, yeah, no, you see what happened clearly. The nut came off. Don't know what's going on. We got to figure things. So I like to see a little bit more calm. I like that, calm and composure. So it's cool to see that. I understand when drivers are upset, especially whenever it is something that their team messes up on. But the fact that he just wasn't bad-mouthing his team just really just goes to show how much he appreciates his team overall. And I'm sure, behind closed doors and everything, don't get me wrong, they're all going to talk. And they're going to try and figure stuff out. I don't doubt that at all. But it's just still cool to see. So just a nice little shout out to him on that one. When they do restart, Palou takes the lead. Lap 14, the 21 taps the wall. It was just due to some hard racing. Has a flat rear go down. Has a flat right rear. It was due to willpower. He just kind of squeezed him a little bit, but like I said, it was good hard racing. They go back. No caution on that one. He does just limp himself back around. On road courses, sometimes they'll do cautions in different areas, so that was not a full course caution or anything. Lap 30, the number 20, from 7th, has a right rear go down and go straight into turn 11. He did tap the wall. It looks like it was jutting out just a little bit. Even the commentator said that was kind of weird. They didn't know if maybe there's some contact there earlier. Sadly, even if I was rewatching the race and checking out the replays and everything, I didn't see anything myself. They never showed anything, so I don't know exactly what was going on there. If it was just whenever they put the walls up for this race, it just happened to be a little bit off. But you see he barely scrapes it, and yeah, it just totally shreds that back tire off, and sends him just uncontrollably straight through the turn of 11, or straight through the turn right there at turn 11. So hate to see it, but again, driver at least was okay. Um, that did cause a yellow. When we do go back to green at lap 37, it went green, then right back to yellow. Jacob Abel in the number 51 goes into the wall from contact and bounces off the wall. Joseph Newgarden coming up right behind him. Still bad luck for Penske, I'm telling you. Kind of hits him in the right rear as he was bouncing off the wall, which sent him up Newgarden's car. So Newgarden actually drove underneath him, and it put Abel's car on top of Newgarden's back on the rear wing, destroying the wing for Newgarden and ending his day. Abel's day was also done, so both drivers out from that contact. There's a little bit more of a pilot behind him. No one else's days were ruined. A few of them had to go ahead and pit, though, due to some slight damage. But it was a crazy little event there. Even if I watched the replay of it, it was not quite as bad as the Chicago street race for NASCAR, but also not great. So, just kind of funny. Because seeing a car go up on top of the other one like that, at first it was scary, don't get me wrong. But once everyone was okay, rewatching it later on, I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. Glad no one got injured, but the car being on top of the other one that way, it's just, you don't see that every day. So, just entertaining there, to be honest. From there, lap 43, Will Power goes into the wall, but no caution as he was able to get going. He just kind of tapped a little bit. Looked like he maybe just wasn't able to quite turn entirely, so he probably just maybe carried a little too much speed into there. Sadly, they didn't really show the replay on that, so I wasn't able to see too much. They just showed him in the wall, backing up, and then getting going again. So I don't know if there was contact there or what for sure, but that was something still that I at least wanted to mention that I saw happened. Just the very next lap, O'Ward would take 3 spots, going from 5th to 2nd in one lap. Even the commentators thought that was really awesome. So just really cool for him. Lap 57, the driver that was first, Vicky, if I'm saying that correctly, I hope so. O'Ward would pit the very next lap, and just like he did in Newgarden, he would come out right in front. And with 3 to go, right as the two of them are finally getting to be able to race out a little bit, yellow comes out. And it's for 2 of the cars, the number 6 of Nolan Siegel and number 60 of Felix, would wreck in turn 10. They would actually end up hitting the wall, and that ends the race. IndyCar is not like our racing in NASCAR. They will end under caution. So that did just give the win to O'Ward, which is pretty cool. That's his second win of the season. And the other one, of course, coming the week before in the first race that we just talked about up in Iowa. And that's going to do it for IndyCar. Those 3 races, all 3 really good, solid racing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Been enjoying watching this as the year has gone on. I didn't really start until watching it at the Indy 500 though, so I did miss the first few races, but it's been a lot of fun since then. Trying to get better with some of these drivers' names. It's a little bit different for me. Same with the F1 guys. So please just have some patience with me as I get used to some of this. I am trying to get better at pronunciation, everything like that. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and go on to F1. That way I can be able to wrap this episode up for y'all and let you guys get on with your days. It was the British Grand Prix. First off, just want to say it was raining, and I think if it was NASCAR, they would have delayed it. So it just goes to show the dedication that we get from other racing series, but it also shows why I think sometimes it's okay to delay a race. Due to the wet track, there was a yellow on lap 1. The number 13 of Esteban and the number 30 of Liam Lawson. Esteban races for Haas, Liam races for Red Bull. They collide. Lawson getting the worst end of it because he spins out and he's out of the race. Broke something in suspension when he spun out. He wasn't too happy about what happened. Looked like it was going a little bit of 3 wide there. And he just got the raw end of the deal. Bad day, but sadly that one just can chalk it up to a racing incident. Verstappen would lead, but on lap 8, again it's due to rain, would slip up a little bit. And he let Oscar Piastri, in the number 81, overtake him for the lead. And right after that happens, rain. And due to the rain, Max can't hold on while in second still, goes off the track a little bit, allowing Lando Norris to be able to get around him. But they both go into the pits almost immediately, and he gets that spot back. Lap 14, as the two of them are both regaining with the track and getting back up to speed, the whole race goes yellow, and they actually bring the safety car out due to the rain. I honestly think they should have brought the cars in for just a little bit because it was really heavy rain. But after just being yellow and having the safety car out there for only 4 laps, they go back to green. With Piastri in first, Max in second, Norris in third. Lap 18, safety car has to come out yet again though, because right as they went green, you had a driver hit hard into the wall, and his right side was entirely destroyed. Driver's last name is Hadjar. I'm really trying to get better at these guys. I'm sorry, but I do want to talk about F1. I've been enjoying watching it too. It's just these drivers' names are a little bit different for me. I think his first name was actually Isaac. Yeah, no, it's just Isaac. Yes, Isaac Hadjar. So I'll just call him Isaac for now. But yes, Isaac went hard into the wall, and his whole right side was destroyed. Whenever they showed the replay, I'm honestly shocked we didn't get more wrecks right there because they showed it from his view. There was no view. Due to the rooster tails coming up of everyone's wheels, there was literally nothing that he could have seen at all. And I can't even blame him for wrecking. He somewhat rear-ended a car in front of him a little bit, and I honestly couldn't even tell you who he rear-ended. Even whenever they showed the exterior play, it was just nothing but rooster tails. I couldn't see enough, and that's what really makes me think they should have waited to go back green. Don't know how their standards are entirely with that, with having a race go red, waiting out the rain, but that's one of those times where I think they should have. I know that the rain passed pretty quickly, but it was real heavy rain, kind of like what we saw for NASCAR this past weekend. So maybe they should have just let it dry out a little bit longer. But I don't know. I don't make the calls on any of that. But it does suck for Isaac because I feel like that did cost him the race. He wasn't going to win, I don't think. He's a little further back in the pack, but he could have at least been able to do better than a DNF. So hate to see that for him. And then lap 21, when the race goes green again, Max Verstappen loses it. He spins from second place, regains it though, loses 7 spots. Whenever he rejoined the field, he was back to 9th. Almost 10th, but fought with the driver that was in 10th to be able to stay in 9th. And I think that's just, again, due to the rain. Watching the replay, it was right as they were getting green and they were all putting the power down, and he just lost it. And I think it was just probably right there on a wet spot. And he just, yet again, another racing incident due to the rain. And another reason why I still feel like they should have let the track dry a little bit more. And I'm not even a big Max Verstappen fan. I know he's a great driver and everything. But I hate to see anyone lose all those spots. He was definitely a contender for the win that day. And due to that, he didn't win. Not too much more happens after that. other than the fact that he had two Haas teammates, Behrman in the 87 and Esteban in the number 31. They made contact and both spun out. Kind of funny to see. Even the commentator said, "Oh no, not again." These two have gotten into it before, and they were just good hard racing. It was nothing intentional about it. One had his wing clip the other one's wheel, and that was it. And whenever one lost and started spinning, the other lost and spun too. So just a racing incident between two teammates. Sucks for Haas though, but it was entertaining for the fans, I'm sure. And Lando Norris, he took the lead after pitting, has the lead even after pitting, and it was all due to some crazy penalty on Pistari. I don't understand the penalty, especially when it comes to the F1 stuff. I'm still very new to it all. I see a lot of fans are upset about the penalty. It was a 10-second penalty. He lost the race by 5 seconds. Whenever Pastrana went to pit, he actually had to wait 10 seconds before his crew was allowed to touch the car. Again, I don't understand very much of it. It was something to do with one of the cautions and him not being up to speed or something. We've seen this before just a few weeks ago out of F1, and I talked about it then too. It's still something. It's still something I don't fully understand. And I love that I'm having to do this again, but this whole thing keeps messing up. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, guys. I'm having too many difficulties today. I don't know what's going on technically wise. This has not been doing this to me the last few ones. I've been even doing longer podcasts, so I don't know what's going on today. But maybe it's all the storm's been in the area. Maybe we're just having some internet connectivity issues. I don't know. But I do hope you all have a good one. I do hope to be on video here soon. Working on the last few things to get the helmet ready. That way I can be able to start doing video podcast. So I can be able to start getting out there more. But that's it for me for this week, guys. You all have a good one. Stay safe. Until next week on Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I will be posting again. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.